Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I've got a challenge here today. I got this question from Daniel. He asked me to keep this anonymous, but his whole question is based around his business. So I can't really say his business and keep it anonymous. So this is going to be challenging here. So anyway, I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try to answer this as best as possible by sort of abstracting to a higher level what the question is. So Daniel basically has this online business, right? And it sounds like it's doing pretty well. And anyway, he's had some struggles building this thing out, right? He's basically had outsourced it to some developers, and they spent some time customizing this. It took them like a year to produce this result that wasn't very good. He tried to have some local developers work on this. They built a version of it, but it took a long time again, and it was a whole mess. And he's got some quotes from people ranging from like 200K to 400K to build this thing. A place in Ukraine will do it for 120K, and some devs in Serbia that will work for about $600 to $1,000 a month. So he's using a third-party solution right now for his site, but it's not very good. He's afraid he's being penalized by SEO and so on. He's he's trying to figure out what to do. Should he get a job as a junior developer so he can afford this? Should he sell a real estate property that he has and hire these developers? What should he do in this case? So and then he has a little bit of a question about fitness, which I'll try to get to if I have time at the end. But anyway, Daniel, so here's what I like. Obviously I'm not going to be able to give you like solid business advice of exactly what you should do in this situation in this short video. I would really need to talk to you, and I am happy to. By the way, I don't advertise this much, but I do some coaching and consulting. If you want to, go to my about page on simpleprogrammer.com. That's the easiest way to find that if you really want that. I don't advertise it because it's very limited. So and it's expensive. So anyway, so what I would say here is this: we got to step back and we got to ask the question of what are you trying to do, right? And what can't you do right now? So the only thing that your email has told me is that you think that your existing site, because of what you're using, what you're building on top of someone else's platform, has SEO problems because of duplicate content. But you're not sure about that, right? I mean, obviously you're selling your product, you're making money. Any investment should have a return, right? And so I would step back, and maybe you have answered this question. I mean, I'm just going off of an email that you sent me. So I would ask, what specifically are you lacking that some investment in redeveloping the site and adding some functionality to the site would give you that would generate some kind of a return for you? And if you can't answer that question yet, you probably shouldn't be redeveloping the site yet, or maybe you should be doing it in an iterative approach, adding a little bit at a time. I guess it's sort of an all or none for you because you're on some proprietary platform and you're trying to get off of it and build your own thing. But here's another piece of it, right? Again, I know you've watched my video on the Shopify thing. I did a video saying you should use Shopify or use your own site, and so I'm going to rehash a little bit of that, but essentially, like, if you're not doing something extremely unique, then you shouldn't reinvent the wheel, right? If you don't have something very specific or good reason that having your own custom site is going to make a difference, then don't worry about that. Don't try and reinvent that. Try to build off of someone else's platform, and if you can extend that to me that makes a little bit more sense, and you can do that a lot cheaper than maybe even if you need a tool for your particular thing. Again, I don't want to get too much into what you're doing because I don't want to I do want to keep this anonymous like you asked, but maybe your tool can be off-site, or it looks like it's part of the site but it's not. It's a separate page and it submits something to a back end which integrates with your storefront or process there, right? Try to have something like that. That might be cheaper. Now, if you do need to redevelop the site, if you absolutely do need to, here's kind of my advice on keeping things cheap as far as development. I would probably, like, you've gone to a dev boot camp, so you have some basic development skills yourself. That's good. That's going to help you understand and hire a team. I don't know what your budget is, but if you're looking at like 200 to 400K to develop a site, that seems a little bit high to me considering what I know about your business. So I would suggest in that case, probably like going, and it's going to take some time, but sort of hand picking your team, going out to a place like Upwork, putting out a job, trying to find developers on there, and basically, you know, vetting them out, give them little test projects. Like think of it as, you know, is this process. Like it's hard, and I struggle with this myself, right? Because right now I'm looking for a good video editor, and so I'm going through this process. And I'll tell you what, I mean, in fact, hey, here we go. Let's travel to my whiteboard, shall we? So let's see if we can see what's on here. Okay, so it's probably gonna come out backwards, so that's probably not gonna work. Actually, check this out. I bet I can change the camera. No, I can't. Okay. So anyway, I'll read what's on my whiteboard here. That's kind of strange. I never thought about it. Anyway, so I've got basically an instruction to get a raw sample of my video from the person who records my video, and then post an Odesk job, and then I'm going to give them some examples of the high quality videos that I do on the site, and I'm telling them that what I want them to do is to fill in the description, edit, tag, annotations, all that stuff, put an intro and outro on my videos, and then my plan is that I'm going to filter through a bunch of people, right? I'm going to get a lot of applicants for this job, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a few of them, like the best qualified applicants, and I'm going to give them a trial job. I'm going to interview them first, right? I'm going to give them a trial job, and I'm going to have them each do the same job. I'm going to compare their work, and then after that, I'm going to select one of them to hire and then produce the videos. But it's going to take a lot of work just to get to that person, but it's going to be worth it because I'm going to be sticking with that person for a long time. And so in hiring people for a team to develop something, I think that makes a lot of sense. Is you give them, you put this upfront work in. So, you know, spend your time trying to find really good developers in the right price range and give them a test. Put them against each other until you develop that team. Maybe you'll go through like, 50 developers that you'll be talking to, and maybe 10 of them that you'll be actually hiring to do a smaller task. And then, but at some point, and this is going to be critical, right? You're going to get like 2 or 3 really good developers that do exactly what you want, and they're reliable, and that can build out the pieces of your system, one step at a time, and aren't going to overcharge you, and then you can rely on them forever, right? You get them working with you or for you, or maybe even hire them full time, and then you have that expertise. It's hard to do this, right? You just want to go and you want to get the thing done. You just want someone to give you a quote and throw it over the wall and show me the result, but it doesn't work that way. Instead, I found this time and time and again is this is part I think that my business is struggling with, is I've got to hire the right people to do the right jobs at the right time, and that's somewhat difficult to do. So that's the approach that I would take if you go down that road, but I would avoid that if you can. I mean, is there some other way that you could expand your business, that maybe you could double the size of your business without building a proprietary website and making that investment? Is there some way that you could grow the revenue of the business to the point where you don't have to be cost conscious, where you can just hire the best development firm that you can and pay $500,000 to have your website developed exactly how you want, and believe that it's going to be done? Not that that's a guarantee. Again, even some of the most expensive developers, that could actually even be worse. But let's just say, right, is there some other thing that you can do, some other place that you can invest before you take this kind of risky investment on? So those are some of the questions that I would ask about this. And I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, I mean, this is just an email. This is just a video. I can't give you like the absolute what to do. I don't have all the information. I can't give you all the information that I would about this. But those are some things to help you with, maybe to consider. And ultimately, I'd say you probably can get this done cheaply. I mean, you can find, honestly, like good Ruby developers for like 20, 30 bucks an hour on Upwork, that are from different countries, but you have to vet them out and figure out who can do the work. But it's definitely possible. You can assemble this team, and if you have to do this on the budget, you're gonna have to do that legwork. Don't necessarily do the legwork of doing the development yourself. That's probably not gonna be worth it. Figure out how to get this team that you're gonna need so you can run the business and you can focus on working on the business instead of in the business. That's key. Anyway, I don't know if you've read E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, but that's a good book. If you haven't, I would assume that you probably already have some of this since you've been running this business. Anyway, I hope that helps. Again, it's tricky situation. I'm trying to think of any other advice I would give here, but yeah, I think that's about it that I have here. And then I will address your other question here, which is, you said, what workout supplements do you use? I know in one of your videos you said protein and creatine, but which ones in particular? What's your daily routine? What time do you wake up, go to sleep, exercise, etc.? So I'm just going to talk about the supplements, because I think I did a video talking about my routine. If not, I probably will do one at some point. But anyway, as far as supplements, my general basic supplements are creatine and protein. I take like a multivitamin. At different times, I'll be taking different supplements. I take vitamin D. I think most of us are short on vitamin D. But aside from that, I don't, on a general basis, take supplements. Like right now, I'm on the Ultimate Diet 2.0, and there's sort of a recommended supplements for that, and so I'm taking those. But in general, most supplements do not actually do anything. They haven't been proven. Creatine has, obviously a whey protein as well. So anyway, I thought I would just indulge a little bit on answering that question. But yeah, tough question. If you do want to spend some time consulting about this issue, just let me know. This is it's definitely, it's tough. It's tough to try and build a team to develop something, to even know if you need to develop it in what, especially when, it's big. The other last thing I would say is, like, if you can break it down into phases, into smaller projects, that's going to help too, rather than having this huge thing. The smaller the thing is, the more likely it's going to get done, and you can always pull the plug early if you need to. Anyway, Daniel, I think I've gone on long enough about this. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully this is helpful. Maybe it's helpful to someone else. If it is helpful, let me know. Leave a comment below. I'm always curious about if you guys like to hear about people's specific situations, and if that makes sense to you, is interesting to you, whatever. Anyway, if you like this video, subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.